Let's get this started. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Tuesday, September 9th regular meeting of the Palm Springs Planning Commission.
Recording in progress.
There we go.
Could you call the roll, please?
Sure. Chair Wormick,
Present.
Vice Chair Alayan,
Present.
Commissioner Baker,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Murphy,
Present.
Commissioner Rotman,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Morrell,
Here.
and alternate Hernandez.
Can I have a report on the posting of the agenda, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, the agenda was posted. Thank you. The agenda was available for public access at the City Hall exterior building board, which is on the west side of the council chamber, and the planning services counter by 9 p.m. on Thursday, September 4th.
Thank you. And would you introduce yourself? This
Oh,
is
of
your
course.
first time here with
Yes.
us. I think it is.
Well, it's my first time in the hot
leading
seat.
the meeting. Introduce
Good evening,
yourself to
everyone.
the
My name is
public.
Tony Reeder. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning here in Palm Springs. I've sat in on meetings before, but with Chris in the driver's seat and with him out of town, I will be your shepherd in the moment.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the commission on consent calendar and other items and items within our general subject matter jurisdiction. Note that we can't take any action on an item that is not posted. Each speaker will get 3 minutes. Testimony for public hearings may be offered at this time or the time of the hearing. And the only public hearing item is the number 2A, Old Las Palmas Partners. So people who are here on that item can comment on it now or when it comes up. If you're here on the other items, I think, as a matter of discretion, I would let people comment on them after a staff report on it. So if you're here on the other two items, you don't need to give public testimony now, but you can give it on the item. I'm going to exercise some discretion there. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment now? I need a longer microphone. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment now? Please, if you'd sign in and,
Oh, yeah, Madam Chair, we do have two folks who have,
on
Regis-
Zoom.
oh, no, not on Zoom.
So if you want to call them, then does he have a card in with us?
Yes, he does.
So, okay.
This is.
My name is Frank Tyson. I dearly love this town and have fought most of my life to preserve its character. Just to give some of my accomplishments so that you know where I'm coming from, half a century ago, I beat 2 refineries from coming in immediately west of us. A decade ago, I beat a jail from coming down here. I was also involved in moving the Aquashare Arena Theater from downtown Palm Springs, where it would have ruined the place. And Palm Springs is only as desirable today because over the years we've had the good sense to say no to destructive projects. Another example of the past was Francis Crocker, the father of the tramway, who fought 3 battles way ago against the state highway department, which would have landed the freeway right through our town and the other Cove communities. I'm also proud of having been part of the movement of the new boutique hotels that helped jumpstart the city in the 80s. For those reasons, I was shocked that the Planning Commission approved a monstrous warehouse development, which was justified only by the vice chairman by saying that it was spitting out money. Well, Palm Springs is not a place to spit out money. That's not the point. The point is to keep the character. We simply are not an industrial community. And you have to only take a trip to the Inland Empire and see the kind of disaster that's been going on there. Health-wise alone is a problem. City of Ontario is now in the 98th percentile of cancer risk. Is that what our Planning Commission is aiming for? Yet, on the other hand, the city of Fontana, which used to be an industrial town, had the guts to turn down one of the warehouses. It bothers me very seriously that both our chairman, Wermuk, and vice chairman, Lelian, whom I've always admired, no longer seem to care about protecting the character of our city. The very reason they were appointed.
Is his time up?
Yep.
If you'd finish your sentence. Thank you. The next speaker is?
We have Mr. Michael Valdez, and he has also brought written material in support of his comments, which I can distribute to the commission if they are agreeable.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll speed through this. I'm here to speak on the proposed zoning changes in the Sunrise Park neighborhood, specifically at Sunrise Way and Tahquitz Canyon. As a resident, my single-family home borders these sites where staff proposes 5-story mixed-use developments. This is inappropriate, and I'll outline practical and legal reasons why. Start with the massing diagram I've attached to the back of the letter I've passed out. It shows a visual impact of a 50 to 60 foot tall 5-story building from my backyard based on a 45-foot palm tree for scale. Practically, a 5-story building would loom over my newly landscaped backyard. It would block sunlight, erode privacy, and diminish quality of life for me and my neighbors in this otherwise serene neighborhood. We chose Sunrise Park for its low-density appeal distant from downtown, yet this proposal would devalue my home due to its incompatible scale. An appraisal meta-analysis done by a reputable firm has determined that you can expect a 20% more reduction of property values with such an incompatible development next door. Ironically, as a historic neighborhood, our properties face strict development limits to preserve character, yet now we propose allowing towering structures next door to undermine it. Legally, the proposal violates the general plan's low-density zoning with a 0.35 floor area ratio for offices. Staff cites laws like SB 375 and AB 2011, claiming that it's near a major transit stop and a major commercial corridor, but no such transit stop exists. Sunline routes 2 and 4, which service the area, don't meet the 20-minute interval requirement for SB 375's transit-oriented development incentives. Absent standard parking requirements, the waiver of which is built into these laws, a high-density project with a parking exception would spill parking into our residential streets, creating congestion and safety issues. The commercial corridor claim under AB 2011 also falls flat. All but one of the lots is accessed by residential streets, not Tahquitz Canyon. Recent SB 79 amendments allow cities to cap heights for these developments at 35 feet, a far cry from the 5 stories or 50 to 60 feet proposed. Additionally, it allows for density restrictions and objective design standards to protect adjacent uses. These include step backs for upper stories, window and balcony limitations to prevent overlooking, transitional or buffer zones, lighting controls, and landscaping screens to safeguard the privacy and compatibility with neighborhoods like mine. The proposed retail, hotels, and luxury condos that fall into this zoning classification don't qualify for state overrides. They're not affordable housing. making this an egregious overreach that contradicts the general plan. I urge the Commission to direct staff to obtain an independent legal review and revise the zoning to align with the general plan and state law. Protect Sunrise Park's historic character with reasonable height limitations and design standards. This home is a dream I've worked for since 2007. I'll fight to preserve it while respecting state law to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak now? There being none, public comment is closed. We come to the consent calendar, and the item before us are the approval of the minutes of July 22, 2025. I have some comments on the minutes, if I can find them. Does anybody else have, oh, I do have them, okay. I have comments in 3 different areas. The first is that on item 4A, I believe the commission said that this was a serious issue, that while we wanted the surf club to continue, the noise issues were serious issues and needed to be resolved, and I think that should be in the comments. The second is public hearing 2A, and Commissioner Rotman moved and Commissioner Miller seconded, but what they seconded were recommendations to the ARC, and I think it should state that those were recommendations. The third item, and I usually don't have this many comments, was on the last item in front of us, which was item 2B, and there should be a there should be a comment that the owner was asked and agreed to provide a best efforts letter to the city to provide that purchasing by the applicant and his contractors would be done in the city of Palm Springs to the extent possible so that the sales tax could be paid to the city. And that does need to be recorded. So I would,
With those changes, I would recommend approval of the minutes.
I will second it. Are there any other comments? Can you call the roll, please?
Yes.
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 Abstain. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. That item is approved. The next item is our first item of business, and this is a public hearing. It is a request by Old Las Palmas Partners, LLC, for the approval of a 2-year extension of time for a major architectural review application, a major development permit application, a tentative track map, and a variance application for a mixed-use project consisting of 24 residential condominium units and a 5,411 square foot commercial space on a 2.4 acre undeveloped property located at 575 North Palm Canyon Drive. Staff report, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. The item in front of you tonight is an extension of a time request for a previously approved mixed-use project named Rios. So this mixed-use project includes 24 residential condominium units and a commercial space, and it was approved in the Uptown District. And April 10th, 2025 will be the date that the entitlement expires. And this project involves multiple applications such as change of zone, major development permit, major architectural review, variance, and tentative tract map. For this application, the applicant is seeking a 2-year extension of time for these applications except for change of zone. Just to give you a background of this project was initially introduced to the Planning Commission in January 2021. And in 2022, the Planning Commission approved the major development permit, tentative tract map, and variance applications, and recommended approval of the change of zone application to the City Council. And on April 10th, 2023, the City Council adopted the ordinance, and the change of zone was officially approved. And this makes the effective date of entitlement approval. And the entitlement earlier in April 10th, 2025 will be the date that the entitlement expires after the 2 years of them being effective. And this is approved the site plan. The project site extends from North Palm Canyon Drive to Berardo Road along Chino Drive. The development is designed with a commercial space on the North Palm Canyon Drive frontage, and the residential units are proposed along Chino Drive, Berardo Road, as well as North Property Line. The project consists of multiple buildings, and the community amenities are proposed within the space between the buildings. The primary access to the site is provided on the Berardo Road frontage through controlled access. The proposed project is a 2-story and a maximum building height of 30 feet. The architectural design is contemporary, and the character-defining architectural feature is a perforated metal screen, which is applied at different places on the project site. And a similar architectural treatment is proposed on all sides. As the staff mentioned, the project includes 24 residential units as well as a commercial space. The ground level will be dedicated to commercial, residential, and the parking, and the second floor will be dedicated to larger residential units. The Palm Springs zoning code and the municipal code allowed the life of entitlement to be extended through the extension of the time review process, and the Planning Commission is the approval body of the application. In order for the Planning Commission to grant an extension of a time, specific findings that are stated in the zoning code must be met. And one of the findings states that the financial inability and the market conditions are not considered valid reasons to justify an extension of time request. And under this application, the Planning Commission may grant an extension of time up to 24 months. In the justification letter, the applicant explains that the project was delayed due to challenges associated with finding prospective buyers and the design of the project itself, which relies on securing buyers for further progress. And as for the applicant's efforts to exercise entitlements, as of today, there are 8 to 10 serious prospective buyers, and applicant's team continues to actively work with a local real estate firm in search of additional prospective buyers, and the team has been in communication with the State Department of Real Estate to create favorable conditions to secure prospective buyers. In approving this application, in reviewing this application, the staff has determined that no changes are proposed to the approved plans, and the project was not delayed due to financial inability nor market reasons, and applicant has adequately demonstrated their efforts to exercise their entitlements as exemplified by securing 8 to 10 serious prospective buyers and active engagement with a local real estate firm and the communication with the DRE. And the 2-year extension of time until April 10th, 2027 is adequate, and the project meets the required findings for granting approval for time extension. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the extension of the original entitlement approvals by 2 years until April 10th, 2027. And this concludes the staff presentation, and the staff is available, and applicant's team is available remotely. Thank you.
Questions of staff? Go ahead.
Noriko, when did the request to extend come in from the applicant?
The request for extension came before the entitlement expiration date.
Okay.
Yes, thank
That's
you.
what I was trying to zero in on. Thank you.
Commissioner Morrow?
Yes. To me, I like the project. I think it's great. I wasn't here in 2021 or at the prior hearings, but the financial ability and market conditions per the code, this to me seems to represent both those problems because they state in their application that the marketing is affecting their financing. They need people to sign up for units in order to start construction. So there seems to be something amiss in the marketing side, and I wondered what exactly their problems are. I tried to go online and find this project anywhere, and it's not searchable that I could find. It's not on the developer's website. It's not on the real estate company's website. So how is it being marketed? Where, what is the problem?
Are those,
I'd like to know.
are those questions for staff or questions for the applicant?
Questions for the developer, but I'd like to know from staff how it met financial, the financial inability and the market conditions. Why wasn't that, triggered?
Commissioner Morel, if I may. So in reviewing this application, the staff thought that the consumer behaviors are out of the applicant's control. And also real estate decisions are not solely based on the financial consideration. This is a mixed-use project on a very busy street. So it does attract a certain type of prospective buyers who desire to live in living in that environment. And then also this is a very large project which is very exclusive in nature. So the process takes longer than the typical project by design. And the applicant's team is available remotely and can provide additional information or clarify why their request meets the required findings too.
Are there other questions, and are these other questions similar to this one? Yes, Commissioner Murphy.
Question of staff. Is it within our purview to make changes to the entitlements since this is being reopened?
No.
The answer is no. Sorry, thank you.
Okay. So what's here in front of us is purely to approve or not approve?
Yes, correct. The item in front of you is whether the Planning Commission to grant an extension of time, basically extend the life of entitlement or not.
Okay.
Are there other questions? I think I have the same one of the applicant that Commissioner Morel has. There being no other questions, if the applicant is present to answer. Did you have questions, Laura?
If I do have the exact same questions, it sounds like others do.
I think we all do. Is the applicant present?
The applicant's representative, Peter, is now online.
Hi, Peter, do we get to see you?
You should get to see me. Hold on a minute. I'm not sure why you're not getting to see me.
Well, why don't, I think we don't need to if you want to give your presentation or,
No, I'm happy to be seen, and it's nice to see all of you, and thank you, Noriko. Hold on just one second. And you can hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, so I'm sorry for the video part. Thank you, Noriko, and thank you, commissioners. So we remain completely committed to this development, and I spend many months every year at my office at 800 North Palm Canyon, and we're very engaged in these 24 custom homes. They are each being designed to the buyer's specific tastes and preferences. And for all of you who have renovated a bathroom or built a house, that is a specific process. So that is, I would say, fact one. Fact two is I did not understand that in California, there were regulations with the Department of Regulation that prohibited creating binding contracts between a buyer and a developer until a project had reached a certain place. And we are working through that mechanism. We have, I would say, 8 very strong, committed buyers who are all people known to me and known to my partners and known Palm Springs part-time or full-time residents who are more eager than I am to downsize and to remain in Palm Springs in smaller quarters than they're currently living in. So I remain very bullish on this and appreciate the extension of time, as do my partners, to move forward and complete this project.
And that is your entire presentation. Are you done? I think that's my question. I won't have people, I have to bring the public in first before the commissioners can ask you questions.
I'm happy to address any and all questions.
Fine. Are there members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, this is open to the commission for questions. Commissioner Morrell?
Well, I have several, but I'll try to limit them. What marketing is going on? Because I couldn't find anything online suggesting this particular site. There's nothing on Zillow or any of the normal real estate websites.
You're correct that this is not online, and we have intentionally not put it online. We need to complete the final interior elevations and all of those drawings and complete the final pricing before we present this to the broad public. We have been dealing with a small cadre of buyers and a small group of the top real estate professionals in the Coachella Valley.
And when you say 8 to 10, is it 8 or is it 10 or what are the other two?
That's a good question. I think that we probably have 8, and I think that probably translates to 14 units. Because people want 2 bedrooms, they want a guest house. There are 1 bedrooms, there are studios, and some people want a studio as a guest house. Some people want it as an office space to work at home. So there are many combinations, and our very smart partner and architect, Mark Rios, and his team have designed these in a way that allows buyers that flexibility. So what that does is we have I wouldn't call it a waiting list, but a reservation list where people have said, I want this unit, I want this view. We have some people who would like to combine 2 units. We have people that want to have the southwest corner. We have people who want another spot because they want to actually have the attached garage in their unit. So it's a puzzle. And it's a very interesting puzzle. Is that helpful, sir?
I guess so. I'm not familiar with the development where the buyers are sort of driving the whole project. Normally, if you go to Ascena or Miralon, you get a plan, you get, this is your unit, and it's not anticipated that you're going to make all these changes. And I would think it would be very difficult for you to have any kind of construction schedule if you have all these players involved.
That's an astute point, and I appreciate you raising that. Those developments are not custom home developments. These are custom home developments. So while the exteriors are the same, the interiors are all custom. And they're being done at a level of an Aman hotel. So we expect these will sell for much more than those units sell for.
So if these 8 parties agree and are ready to move forward, is that enough for you to get approval and financing and whatever else you need to start construction?
Yes, I think that puts us in a very good place. And the Rios team has to finish the rest of their drawings and turn those into the city for approval. We are continuing to work with D.W. Johnson as our contractor. And, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just one other quick thing. I don't want to take a lot of time, but what about the retail? Wouldn't it be possible to start the retail? Or is that somehow tied to this residential?
No, no, it's not. I have not felt, I have one Palm Springs current business that would like to be in the retail. I have intentionally not pushed the retail. And I don't know if you were on the planning commission when we started this, but one of your colleagues talked about the 2.5 miles of retail from Ramon to Vistachino on both sides of the street. And we talked about the Mag Mile in Chicago and how long Rodeo Drive was. And so I have not promoted the retail because I have intentionally wanted the Thompson to fill up and to have some of the other spaces fill up and not dilute the market more. And I have felt that that was the right thing to do because the retail is not driving this development, it's the residential sales component. Does that make sense?
I suppose so. I think from a neighbor position, I'd like to see some retail there.
Well, there's going to be retail there.
It would really be nice to fill in that block and have people stop pointing at it and asking me what's going on there and why is nothing being built. So that's it for my question.
I appreciate that. And there will definitely be retail there. I think it's 5,400 square feet of retail.
Are there other questions for the applicant? Commissioner Weyand?
Peter, I have a couple of questions for you. I'm troubled by the findings that we need to make and what is prohibited from making those findings, including that we can't say that you're due an extension if the reason is inability to finance or market conditions. And what we're talking about seems to be tied closely to that. However, there are other things that I can see that potentially would knock you back sometime, and I want to know if any of these have impacted you. In particular, we have, since your project was approved, we've had a great deal of turmoil and uncertainty with tariffs and how they are going to impact the cost of goods here in the States, including everything from steel to a lot of building materials. Is that a consideration or a concern for you?
Of course, for anyone who's in business, the cost of supplies and materials is absolutely a concern. And as we wind the clock back, and when we originally started this, we got started, and then, you know, the process through City Hall was incredibly slow for us because of COVID. And so it took a long time to get through that. And we all, you know, remember that well. And we appreciated the city's, you know, the city was just closed a lot and took a long time. And then there was a period where lumber went up dramatically. And we were actually grateful, Commissioner, that maybe the city had been so slow because the cost of lumber materials was so high. And then there have been periods of the wondering what about interest rates and the outcome of elections and that impact on things. And the tariffs are certainly a concern. And we've got a good working budget with our builder, and we have to update that when we have the exact final plans. So I appreciate you recognizing that external force. Thank you. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely, that does. And the other one that I'm wondering how this might impact you is the uncertainty in construction workforces with the change in policy for immigration. And how does that impact your plans?
We rely on our contractor to work with people who are eligible to work in the United States. And if there are less people available to do the work, and the work pipeline is as busy as it has been, and if there are fewer people, that too could be an issue. We feel it will take another 8 to 12 months to finish the final plans and get them through the team at the city. And we hope that some of these challenging external factors will have resolved themselves in a more favorable way.
Okay, and then
When we get to that point.
And then finally, this is more a theoretical question, but I understand that it would take much longer to design and to detail and to plan check 24 custom homes or custom condominiums than it would if they were all spec built and you had a prototype and you just cranked them out. How much longer typically would you expect a project like this to take in completion of the design and permitting than a typical project, a spec build project?
That's a good question, and that's, I think the first 7 to 12 units that are completed are the hardest, and then momentum is gained, and you hopefully pick up some time there, but I think it's probably an extra 12 months.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate your thoughtful questions, Commissioner.
Commissioner Baker?
Hi, Peter. It's Carl Baker speaking. A few questions for you here. I want to back up a little first. What experience do you have building other similar types of developments like this, if any?
Thank you. Well, in Palm Springs, my experience is limited to the 800 North Palm Canyon building and the 830 North Palm Canyon building, where Workshop Kitchen and Bar is, and Room and Board and Compass Real Estate.
So those are all commercial real estate projects. What residential projects have you worked on?
So I'm sitting right now in a building called the University Club Tower in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I live.
Milwaukee.
It's at 825 North Prospect Avenue. You can all look it up online. It's a 35-story luxury condominium that was designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, their chief residential designer, Peter Ellis. And I started the project and worked on it with three partners. And the four of us sold it out except one unit before it was built. There's 1 unit per floor or 2 units per floor. Each floor is 7,000 square feet. And we did that 21 years ago, 19 years ago. Widely recognized as one of the premier luxury buildings built in the United States in the last 25 years outside of New York City.
So in that development, though, were those units built spec and then sold, or were they,
No, they were all custom.
and how long did that take from start to finish?
Oh, I have to think about that for a minute. It reminds me of a time I was with Mousie Powell, William Powell's widow, in Palm Springs. And I said to her, when did the golden days of Hollywood end? I was a kid. And she turned to me and she said, well, you know, sort of like one day you wake up with a bad cold and 7 to 10 days you wake up later and it's gone. I think it took 3.5 years to build these. These were incredibly complicated custom homes in the sky. Some of these are 7,000 square feet. Some of them are 10, all with plumbing in different locations on every floor. Some were building standards, but very few. Incredibly complicated.
Okay, and so next question, what is the percentage of commercial space versus residential space in your spreadsheet? What are you saying, a percentage of my selling point is going to be commercial versus residential? Because you're saying your commercial is inconsequential.
I didn't say it was, I don't want to leave you with it, it's inconsequential, but it is not driving the project. And the commercial space will be very straightforward to build. And I believe that we will have 12 to 18 months before the space is ready for someone to set up shop. And that will be plenty of time for us to lease it to prospective tenants. And the space will be really superb retail space.
Peter, are you aware there's still spaces available downtown that have been empty for years? So
I'm well aware of that.
So then how do you, how do you convince this board that what you're going to provide is going to bring commercial property to you that hasn't filled up empty spaces that have sat on that same street less than a mile away for several years?
Well, if one were to look at our spaces at 800 and 830 North Palm Canyon, we've almost been continuously occupied since 2009 when we finished remodeling and restoring those 3 buildings.
Okay, my last question for you then is if you're unable to...
So let me just speak to that point of the real estate. So many of those spaces, and I walk Palm Canyon almost every day when I'm in Palm Springs, 4 or 5 months of the year. Many of those spaces are really in tough shape, and the buildings have not been maintained, and I think our space will have a real edge because it'll be new, the ceilings will be higher, the windows will, it's designed for, retail for today. It can be modular, the retail spaces can be expanded, they can be contracted. So all of that was really worked through with the Planning Commission in what we originally approved, sir.
Are you familiar with the Elan area down in the south end of Palm Canyon, Cody Place in Elan? They're building commercial spaces, but the builder itself, I forget if it's Toll Brothers or whoever, has bifurcated the project because they don't want to deal with the commercial aspect of it. So they're putting those commercial blocks separate and apart from the residential blocks. Here you're combining the two, but yet you don't seem to feel that that's a major obstacle of filling those commercial spaces when they're going to be brand new commercial spaces that are far ahead of you just down the street at Cody Place.
So I don't think that Cody Place is a retail competitor of ours. It's a completely different part of town in my view.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so then getting back to my last question. So if you're unable to solidify these buyers to obtain the loan, what happens then? 2 years from now, you still have 8 buyers, there's no guarantee of anything. What happens?
It's hard to predict the future. I feel that we are a very well-financed group and are well-prepared to do this.
Can you elaborate a little more, please? Because you're saying you can't get construction financing, but yet on the other hand,
We
you're
didn't
saying
say
you're
that
very
we
well
couldn't get
financed.
construction financing.
Well, please elaborate.
Optimizing construction financing and interest rates improves when one has committed signed agreements, and we are working through that at this time. And we are working through the customization of these projects. I have a group of investors that have deep pockets and are committed to Palm Springs.
Oh, so you're not looking for commercial lending, you're just using private
There
equity?
will be, absolutely, there will be some commercial lending in this. But I feel that we're well equipped to take that on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions? I have one for the applicant, which is,
Yeah,
we're already about 5 months into the extension that you're requesting. And I'm just wondering, I mean, I was on the commission when this came through
I remember.
and I love the project.
Thank you.
But
You were
no,
very helpful.
but very little discussion at the time about these being custom homes and the custom aspect of the project. I think the time limits we give people, this isn't anticipated. And I'm wondering what your thought is that you can get you can get into construction, and you need to, my understanding is they need to start construction within the 19 months that are left. How do you get there?
I thought it was a 2-year extension from this period. We turned our,
It's a 2-year extension from April of this year, so you would have until April 10th of 2027. So that,
to be under construction or to be completed with construction.
to start construction. And
That is my understanding too.
And so the question is, you have been working the issues in an interesting process, and I'm sure it will become a very interesting development when it's built. How will you get into construction in that time period?
I'm confident that we'll be able to do that once these plans are finished by Rios and start grading. And Johnson's very experienced at this, and Brian Adamson is leading our development team. I have full confidence in their ability to do that.
The planning director,
Just for context, I believe the threshold that the project needs to cross within the time limit is issuance of a grading permit. So that would be the kind of the finish line of the starting line.
the finish line or the starting line, but you would have approved, you would have a grading permit and approved construction plans.
Yes.
Correct.
And the city has a process which isn't always speedy.
Correct.
We would like it speedier than it is.
As they say, from your lips to God's ears. And remember, when this started, we were at the period where there was no planning commissioner.
I was on it, so I don't think there was.
No. I mean, excuse me, no director of prior to Chris Hadwin, there was a big gap where, before Chris arrived, who was the,
Flynn
prior-
Fag and Chris, Chris was hired in March of 2022, came on board in the fall.
right?
Okay. That's not relevant. But, and I have one more commissioner who has questions.
Yes,
Yeah, Robert Rotman. So I thought I heard you say to get the drawings completed, it's going to be 10 to 12 months. Is that correct?
I believe that's pretty close to accurate.
And so that leaves you, if we have 19 months? Yeah, 7 months to secure all of the,
The approval and the grading permit and start grading.
but the city doesn't always issue a separate grading permit from a building permit. It's not automatic. So that's something you need to confer with the building department or with engineering, but they don't always issue them separately.
Understood?
And so if I'm understanding with the customization of the units, proposed units with the proposed 8 potential buyers, what is the reduction in the number of units? Or I should say owners, units.
Well, there will be 24 addresses. The question I think you're asking is, do I have an answer to how many units will be bought by individual owners? Is that your question, sir?
Well, you mentioned that you may combine some units. You had mentioned that somebody may want a guest house, which I assume is a studio or 1-bedroom unit that's separate from a 2 or 3-bedroom unit. So I'm just wondering what the final total is going to be. And I understand you don't know everybody, but given the direction it's going currently, what do you think it is?
I think there'll be 16 owners.
16 owners, okay. And what's
But that is
yeah,
what I think, and that is my instinct.
okay. And what is the threshold for you to get preferred financing in terms of percentage of number of commitments?
I think we'd be very comfortable if we had 10.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate everyone's questions so much. And in addition to, we've spent $4.5 million on this. We're very serious. And like all of you, Palm Springs is very important to me. And it's my favorite place in the world to go. And I care deeply about it.
Are there any other questions?
Committed to having this done at a high level. And we're really talking about doing something that no one else has done. There's not anything like this in Palm Springs. There's nothing like this in Cathedral City. You have to go to Rancho Mirage. You really have to go to Palm Desert. And Palm Springs deserves this. And it was very interesting when we talked to real estate people. And they talked about their reactions to it and how positive, and the interest in new product that is done at a very high level with services.
Commissioner Miller, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a question again, and all these other questions raise a question for staff. Noriko, what does the code say about any additional extensions that could be requested after, assuming this 2-year gets approved? Are
Yes.
they able to ask for more?
No. So the part of the zoning code requirement, the applicant may request, the planning commission may grant an extension of time up to 24 months. So for this particular application, the applicant is already seeking extension for 24 months. So if that's approved, then that's the end
But
of
no
it.
more.
Yes. And then also, I think the zoning code says on an extension, it's a singular of up to 24 months. Thank you.
I have one for Enrico. On the lot line itself, there's a sliver of empty space on the north end between Copley's and the development. Is that an easement?
It's an easement.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to
Yeah,
be sure.
Whitewater.
Thank you. I think the matter is before the commission. And a question of our Assistant Planning Director. This is novel, what's before us. I haven't seen something in this form come before us before. I'm more comfortable with language that would go to the sort of national issues that are the uncertainty issues. How comfortable are you with the finding individual buyers and putting the pieces together as financial or not financial?
Well, I mean, I think it does speak to the idiosyncratic nature of the project, and that would set it apart from a more typical project, and could introduce some additional potential challenges separate from marketing or financing. Likewise, as you kind of point out, the kind of macro conditions nationally in terms of supply of both materials and labor could be considered as well.
Thank you. Comments from the commission? Commissioner Olayan? Or Vice Chair Olayan, sorry.
Well, I think this is a beautiful project. I think it's a good project for the location. I would like to be able to be patient enough to wait 2 years rather than making rash decisions that may not be in the best long-term land use interests. That being said, I'm not comfortable with the findings on, two of the findings that we're being asked to make. However, I have proposed alternative language for findings number 6 and 7 in the event we get to the point where the commission seems to be interested in granting an extension.
Do you want to say what those are? And then I think what I'd like to do is take a straw poll as to where we are.
What I would say is on finding number 6, that the applicant has made reasonable, substantial, timely efforts to exercise the entitlement and advance the project, blah, blah, blah. I think that I would recommend that we delete the last 2 sentences. And just end it with, has been actively working with different entities on the project. So strike out about the part in search of other prospective buyers. And then for finding number 7, which deals with extenuating circumstances, I would strike the entire finding that's been proposed and say circumstances beyond reasonable control of the applicant causing uncertainties in project development, including institution and fluctuation in tariffs, changes in the interest rates, and availability of construction workers due to changes in immigration policies implemented since the original project approval. Here's where I can't read my handwriting. Okay. These extenuating circumstances support the requested 2-year extension period.
Comments on that, or just a straw poll? is there,
I support those changes. I think those make it more defensible. And if I might, Chair, go a little bit further, this was a good project then, it's a good project now. It's got some uniqueness that we're just learning about tonight from Peter, and Peter, I appreciate that. It's a mixed-use project in a location we fought very hard to get the design and the elements just right when this came through the process. It got approved by the Planning Commission during COVID. It got approved by the City Council just before the public health emergency of COVID was announced. That was a very tough period of time for development and a lot of other things, as we all recall. I see no reason why we would deny this the ability to try to finish. They got a lot of work to do, especially if Peter is saying it's going to be 7 to 10 months for the design drawings to be done. You got a lot of work to do, and it appears that there's not the ability for another extension. So I feel comfortable because of that, the COVID and the other peculiarities of this project, as well as the changes that Vice Chair Alayan had mentioned. I will support the extension.
so just going through, let me ask how many of us have sort of share the feelings of Commissioner Miller and Vice Chair Alayan? Just a raise of hands. Okay, then
Yeah, I have,
Commissioner
just a-
Morel, yeah. Are
just
you
a
making?
quick- I wondered if there's any way in these projects to push the retail forward, or to put different conditions on the retail to get that moving forward.
I don't think we have the ability to do that, do we?
No, unfortunately, the only matter before the commission this evening is whether or not to grant the extension of time, and I don't believe that there's the capacity to condition that on changing the timing of specific elements.
So,
I would suggest too that it would be unfair to the retailers to go ahead and build and then get them moved into their lovely new space and start building right on their back doorstep for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I would like to see more marketing going on. That's, sort of what I'm getting at is there's no marketing for that commercial space that I'm aware of, and no marketing for the individual units either. This seems to be a word of mouth marketing plan.
other comments? Yes.
My concern, again, it goes back to the finance, because there have been so many projects brought to this commission with good intentions, but have fallen down, and then we end up with vacant land that sits fallow for years. I'm seeking for you to convince me that this is not going to happen, but I don't think you've reached that burden.
Yeah, if you're talking to the applicant, this is before the commission, so what you're saying is he hasn't convinced you. Okay.
Are you ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion. I would like to see the motion that gets made include some of the language regarding COVID, so that we add to the justification the circumstances in which they started. And
I'll move to approve a 2-year extension, subject to the findings as amended by Vice Chair Alayan, with the additional language referring to the COVID pandemic as a rationale that created difficulties just as this project was getting out of the approval box.
is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, can you call the vote, please?
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Vice Chair Alayan,
Yes.
Chair Wormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
No.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Rotman,
Yes.
Commissioner Morale.
No.
The motion passes 5-2. Peter, get it built.
Quickly.
And figure out how to use the video screen on your computer.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think the city's not allowing me to turn on my video. I think you have to do that.
That's okay. We're done. Congratulations. Just
So
get to work.
Thank you all, and I hear your message loud and clear. And I understand the time frame, and I understand the finish line and the starting line. And I understand that a grading permit is not always issued separately from a complete building permit.
Okay.
I want to just make sure relative to the concerns of the retail.
Peter, it's okay. I think what I'd like you to do is discuss that with the assistant planning director and the planning director and Noriko. Thanks so much. Good luck. Yes, I think we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in at 1:45.
Recording
Waiting for Megan, aren't we?
Recording stopped.
Megan, or a technical question for you. In terms of volume on my speech, is there a way of turning that up?
In terms of like, so turning your microphone volume up?
Up, yes.
Yes, I believe so. Try that.
Right now.
Try that, please.
Try what?
Your microphone.
Testing.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Good.
yes.
Okay, we are all here. We'll call
Recording
this.
in progress.
I'll call the meeting back to order. We are at there's no item 3. We are at item 4A, a request by Toll Brothers, Inc. for the approval of final development plans for 119 new single-family residential units in planning areas 5A and 7A, tracts 38721, tract 38722, and 38722-1 of the Planned Development District 231 of the Asina Development located at 100 North Gene Autry Trail. Before the staff report, I need to disclose that I live at Asina and have for about 14 years. I don't live within 500 feet of the proposed development that's in front of us, and that I have had a short discussion with the HOA president that will not be definitive in terms of decisions I make or how I think about the issue. Thank you. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned this afternoon, we are here to look at a final PD for areas 5A and 7A for 119 single-family residences. So what's before you today is 4 different floor plans. Plan 1, and each one of these has a specific name: the Darien, the Judd, the Mare, and the Vincent. 2 of them are 1-story, and the other 2, the Mare and the Vincent, are 2-story. And within that, there are 3 architectural styles: international, modernist, and then mid-century. So in total, there could be 12 different combinations of house types and designs and floor plans for these proposed 119 single-family residences. The scope of the review today by the Planning Commission is to review the final PD, that it's in conformance with the listed criteria of the Asina design guidelines and relevant to the site plan, lot sizes, building massing, and scale. The project, once it moves forward, if it does at some point to the Architecture Review Committee, they will look at the building design, colors, materials, landscaping, and lighting. To orient everyone as to where we're, what part of Asina, this is planning area number 5, which is the northern section of the proposal today. It includes 83 lots. This is Grandview Drive that, let me go back. There's a little highlighter that goes along the main spine of Asina on the west end of the development. The Desert Sun building is right here, and then there is currently a storage facility along Tachiva Drive. This is a close-up of the internal lot showing that there are multiple sizes ranging from 4,050 square feet to almost 9,000 square feet. Internal circulation of the streets, Lavender Lane, Pearl Street, and then Crimson Lane. The second area is planning area 7. This includes 76 lots, and this is the area that is adjacent to Gene Autry Trail, which is the main state highway that runs along the western edge of the property. And then this is the main gate when you come in, the circle, and this is Grandview Drive to the east. And these lot sizes also range from 4,000 to 9,000 square feet. The applicant has provided you a simulated streetscape, including a mid-century, contemporary, international, and then another contemporary, showing what a street could look like and the relationships to each other, being one-story and two-story homes. They also provided floor plans with a little bit of a matrix showing what the Darien would be as a 1,644 square foot house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. And then as we go from the Judd, the Mare, and the Vincent, the houses get larger, up to a maximum of 3-bedroom, 3.5-bath, loft, and 2-car garage. Another floor plan showing the second level for the Mare and the Vincent. And looking at each of these, I'll go through these fairly short, but there are 3 different types of the Darien. The 1-story, the smallest size, international, modernistic, and mid-century. And then each one of these, I'll show you the intended height. This one is a maximum height of 15 feet 3 inches to the top of the parapet as a cross section. And in your packet, the applicant had given us some booklets that I handed around to the Planning Commission. We have 4 extra ones, so you all can share them. And also, there was some questions about the design guidelines. I copied sections of the design guidelines that had to do with the types of house specifics for the international, the modernistic, and the mid-century. So these are the designs of the house, the 1-story house. This is a Plan 1 for each of the different styles. The Judd is also a 1-story. It's larger at 1,700 square feet. The maximum height also is 15 feet 1 inch. And these are the Plan 2, modernistic, mid-century. And then the Mare is a 2-story, 2,048, with a maximum height of 24 feet 3 inches. And the different styles being international, modernistic, and mid-century. The Vincent is also 2-story. This is the largest at 2,162. In this cross-section, the maximum height is 25 feet 2 inches. The applicant, when they come up, can explain the height and the reason for the height. It's based upon floor plans and mechanical ductwork and so forth between the first and second floors. And this is a international, a modernistic, and a mid-century design. Each of these could be interchangeable with the different types of floor plans and styles on the individual lots. In your packet, there's also exterior color selections. There's a wide variety of the types of colors for each different scheme that a potential buyer could secure. Moving on to landscaping, you'll see that they provided landscape plans for the proposal. I would like to point out that the landscaping along Gene Autry Trail on the exterior portion of the perimeter wall, you'll see that there's a note here on the plans that say Common Lot G landscaping to have all dead and missing plants be replaced per original master plan streetscape plan to existing, any existing are to remain. So within each of these tracks, there are lettered lots, which are small lots that are usually at the ends of each of the different individual house parcels, along streets, and entryways into this particular planning area. I did not take a slide of every one of them, but there are in the packet, and you can view them on the actual website plans. But this is an example of what those types of entryway edges, ends of the lettered lots would be. So the types of plants that are proposed are acacias, creosote, palo verdes, Texas ebonies, and a variety of shrubs and cactus that are listed here on the plant palette. Once again, this is a lettered lot, Lot E, as to what this landscaping will potentially look like. These are also lot letters L and M and Lot H. And then each of the houses has a typical landscape plan, which is presented before you, that also has the same landscaping as proposed as the other lettered lots. So staff recommendation is recommending approval, that it substantially conforms to design guidelines. The ARC reviewed the architectural design, landscape colors, materials, and lighting. And Madam Chair, that concludes my report. And if you would like, the applicant is here and has a brief presentation of a couple slides. And I also was asked by Commissioner Rotman to include some pictures. I can pull those up when he wants me to.
Questions for staff? Yes, Commissioner, Vice Chair Land.
I note that in our staff report, when the landscape plan is discussed, it says the proposed front yard typical landscape will consist of a 36-inch box and a 24-inch box, primary, secondary, and specimen trees. That is at odds with what the design shows. The landscape drawings show most frequently one tree, sometimes two trees in the yards. Which governs, the staff report or the drawings that we're looking at?
I looked at this plan. If I described it incorrectly, I apologize, but it is what this plan is representing.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Other questions? I have one, which is the exterior landscape, just as a question. The city does not have copies of the original plans that were approved back in 98 or 2004, correct?
That's right. We've searched our records, and as you know, record keeping is different today versus then. And they are, we can't verify as to what the original plans are.
And you, okay, thank you. And did you go out after you looked at the letters from the HOA and Mr. Stone, Mr. Julian Stone? Did you go out and look at the issues?
Right. Yes. I did read that letter. I did receive it and tried to address what he asked about.
So did you see blow sand?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
He raised the issue. The two issues I think he raised were blow sand and insulation of the homes.
Right. Yes, I had mentioned that to the applicant, and it's my understanding, and they can address this at the HOA meeting they had on Friday or Saturday. This was discussed.
So we should look for the discussion of those issues to the
Yes.
applicant.
They're willing. My understanding is that discussions with them is that they're willing to do noise attenuation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have another question I meant to ask. One of the findings that we're asked to make is that the final development plan is in substantial conformance with all other associated entitlements for the development. We have now the Encina design guidelines. These are part of the entitlement plans, correct?
Yes, those are the design guidelines that we evaluate projects against.
Okay. So when it's suggested that everything is in compliance, does that include the exterior architecture of the homes?
We look and see if it's within the scope of what the guidelines are asking for. In this evaluation, there was a neighboring project that is also Toll Brothers, the NOLA project that was approved. These houses are very similar in design to those.
Okay, so rather than compare against what's in the style guideline, we took a look at it and said, well, if it's been done before, it's okay?
We evaluate each project individually. Granted, the planning commission may determine that there needs to be work and that they don't conform. That is at the discretion of the planning commission.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We don't have a public hearing, but the applicant will have 10 minutes to come forward, and then I will take comments from members of the public if they are here to speak, and then the applicant will have 5 minutes, and then we will ask questions of the applicant.
Not doing that. Why is it doing that? There's a mic. Test. You can, Leah.
Maybe it's my, okay, perfect. Thank you for giving me a second. You sure? This one is? Oh.
Sorry.
Doing the entertainment. Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Commissioners. My name is Leah Muge with Toll Brothers, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present our project this evening. With me today, I have my design team, including the architect, Bill Hajmahalt, our landscape architect, Tom Dossi, and our civil engineer, Joe Beza. Before I dive into the details, I'd like to share a brief overview of Toll Brothers and the contribution that we've had the privilege of making to the Ascena community here in Palm Springs. The Ascena community opened in 2005, and since then, Toll Brothers has purchased and built 258 lots within the community. Before you tonight, an additional 119 single-family homes continuing our long-lasting commitment to Ascena and the city of Palm Springs. From a market standpoint, this community will be offering a low price point, making it the most attainable new homes offering within Ascena, while still maintaining the high design standard Toll Brothers is known for. All homes will have the 3-bedroom layout, designed with both rear and side yards, along with a spool, to meet the buyer demand for livability, amenities, and attainability luxury. In short, this project reflects Toll Brothers' ongoing commitment to Ascena and to Palm Springs, delivering high-quality design that respects the community, thoughtful architecture, detailing consistent with the city's heritage, and a product that is both market-ready and responsive to resident feedback. We have met with the Ascena HOA last Friday and are working to further enhance the common area landscaping per their request. I have our landscape architect, Tom Dossi, that can now walk you through the revisions that have been made between what was presented to you earlier and our discussions on Friday. And we are really excited to move forward with this project and look forward to your support. Thank you for your time, and I'll be happy to answer questions further after our landscape architect speaks more on it.
Thank you. My name is Thomas Dossi, landscape architect, TKD Associates, Rancho Mirage, California. And we've been working with Toll Brothers on all their projects from the very beginning, and we're happy to be involved in this project. I'm not sure if the commission has received the letter from the HOA with some of their items of concern. So what I wanted to say is that we had a very constructive meeting with the HOA on Friday, And we've reviewed the letter and some of the items that they would like us to take a look at for the common area landscape. And we are in agreement with them. We want to thank them for their constructive and concise list of items. And we've prepared a couple exhibits to share today that how we may address those and work those items into our construction drawing set. A number of the items that we're going to work on was in the development of the open space areas. So I think, in fact, the track or the slide that we have right now, this is the area along Grandview. And one of the comments that may come up was regarding a wall along that open space strip between the development and the street. So in this slide here, you can see towards the street side, there's an area that's not in color. That's an existing landscape area. And initially, as the top corner exhibit illustrates, we were going to have this as an open space landscape area buffer without a wall. The HOA has requested a wall, so we are in agreement with Toll Brothers to build the wall. So the wall will go in there, so it'll be consistent with the rest of the community walls. And then along with that, they've requested some areas for different tree species in lieu of palm trees to be utilized. And we're going to work with them on implementing those changes. And then also an area, a small area of grass that would be part of the community with a bench and a dog station. And we've kind of illustrated that here on this overlay. So up in the left, you see the existing, and below you'll see kind of our concept for how we will implement that into our drawings. This was another area where they asked us if we could also integrate some turf area and a path and a bench. So again, you can see how we will incorporate that into that open space area with some changes in the plant species. And then the third area down below along Nova Street is what was presented in your plan set. And then this is our concept of how we could incorporate their comment in the exhibit just up above. And again, it's utilizing a pathway, an area for a bench, and some lawn areas for the residents. And then the recommendation for some plant species and changes in the plant material. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think we'll come back for
Okay.
questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to have the public hearing or the public speak first. But we will call you back, so sit in the front row, Mr. Dosey. Don't go far.
Don't go far off.
Are there members of the public who would like to speak?
Madam Chair, we do have one registered speaker for item 4A, Richard Gordon.
Ah.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Commission, my name is Rich Gordon. I am president of the Ascena HOA. And I'm here tonight to let you know that we did send a letter with a long list of concerns. I will let you know that in a very productive meeting with Toll Brothers last Friday, I believe that almost all of those concerns have been addressed. The key issues that remain for us are these landscape issues, to verify that we can make these changes that we've talked about with them. And we think that that's very possible. We also, in that regard, are looking forward to addressing the exterior along Gene Autry and how that will be addressed since the original plans are no longer available. And that may be an area where we'll have to do some kind of a redesign rather than just trying to figure out what died and what needs to be replaced. We may need a different approach there. And also there's a little interesting area that is an easement at the northern end of one of the
Perhaps staff could show that on the screen.
it's Lot G.
Is that on Tom's slides here? Okay, if I could have the studio go back to the main presentation. It would be the other one. 1 second. Here we go. Thank you. Would that be in planning 5 or 7? That one?
That one, yeah. So there's at the top of that slide,
Right
there's
there.
a 10-foot easement that is a gas line easement. And we need to figure out exactly what we're going to do in that area. So that it originally, there was some discussion about that being a landscaped area, but it would be very difficult to maintain a 10-foot area between the rear wall of the property owner, the homeowner, and the master association wall. So that's one thing we're working through. But again, I just want to stress that the level of cooperation we've received, we believe that the issues we have remaining are all going to be addressed. We'll be able to work them through. And our design review committee looked at the architecture, the home design, and think they substantially comply with what we presently have.
Are there other members of the public?
None that have registered now.
So if the applicant could come back up, and Mr. Dosey. Questions from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Morrow?
Just a quick question on PA5 that's up there on the plan. There's those, there's 5 lots along Street F that are askew. You can see the houses are askew. All the other houses in the development are pretty much facing directly towards the road. I assume there's no way to sort of, yeah, right there. There's no way to reorient those so they face the road, or you might lose a house, which I wouldn't want to lose a house.
Unfortunately, I think, and we have our civil, so he can speak on it a little bit more, but looking at the width of the lot where it is the closest to the house, we just don't have the space and the width to be able to fit the house and then have our 5 foot on each side, which is why the houses are set back further so that you have that relief and that larger lot.
Okay. That's what I assume, yeah.
It still provides a large front yard and backyard for that specific buyer.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Rodman?
the houses that back up to Gene Autry, what are your plans to mitigate some of the traffic noise?
Yeah, we actually brought on an acoustical consultant that has done a full report and a study, and were able to provide us with recommendation. Frankly, all of them, the recommendations are already going to be implemented due to code requirement as far as insulation. The only requirement that we are implementing to make that better is the window rating. The STC rating is recommended to be at 35 for the second story, which we will be implementing. And he deemed that to be able to mitigate the noise from the street.
And what's the height of the wall along Gene Autry?
I believe it is currently at 6 foot.
6 foot? Okay, all right, thank you.
Other questions?
I have some questions about the architectural styles. As I read the style guideline for the 3 different styles that are used, and then read the guideline and take a look at the photographic examples that they have in there and compare them with what's being proposed, to my eye, they look widely different. So were you trying to match those, or were you trying to match what's proved successful elsewhere, and why?
So, yeah, so the backstory on that is that we went with the design guidelines and we're working alongside the city and the design guidelines. From my experience, it has been going with the design guidelines, but also recommendations from the city and the prior comments that we have gotten from the commissioners and you, Madam the Chair, from our last round of project, and we've been able to incorporate those comments that we received last time into this new project to be able to try and like work on those comments prior to coming here.
What do you mean by try to work on those comments?
So I think that last time we were here, some comments were made regarding architectural elements that you would like us to incorporate, and we took that into consideration as well, and we're able to provide, like, such as more shading was required or recommended, so we incorporate that into our architecture. We also had recommendation of providing more four-sided architecture and creating pop-outs, so that's something that we took the liberty of including as well.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand this. We are not the Architectural Review Committee. You'll go to them, but we do pass on recommendations to them or suggestions to them about broad issues and what we think should be addressed. And I'm just not quite sure how to approach that. Could you put up, as example, slide 52? It's the Plan 3 International.
Yes, let me find it.
There we go. Okay, this is an example where if you look at the design elements and the key features according to the design guidelines, it said that there should be smooth wall surfaces, windows flush with the walls, no decorative detailing at the windows or doors, key features, cantilevered projections, including roofs, balconies, and second story. Obviously, what we have here is a setback on the second story. It's not cantilevered out. We don't have the smooth walls. We don't have the flush window. I mean, it's just not what's described here. And I find that with each of the styles and each of the plans. So I guess I'm asking again, was there an attempt to reconcile or to include the key features of the different styles, or and I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that it should be exactly what this says. I don't know. If it's working well for you and the community's happy with it, you've got a beautiful community, then maybe we don't mess with success. I'm just trying to figure out what you were trying to do and determine whether or not we should be passing on suggestions to the Architectural Review Committee.
If you'll let me, I might have my architect speak on that. I think that he has more experience with the design and will be able to answer your question better, if that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Bill Hesmelholz, the architect and designer. So, design guidelines and stuff, we actually wrote the design guidelines many, many years ago, and we spent numerous days walking and canvassing these styles and stuff. As time's moved on and stuff, you know, different product widths have come, different configurations of products and homes. These are 45-foot wide lots, which is a 35-foot wide product. So we have to interpret the design guidelines for those types of elements that make up those styles. So for instance, this international, clearly this resembles international because it's a mixture of different masses put together in cohesion. It's very simplified, it's less ornamentation and detail. And so, you know, we try to take those styles and put it into here. We did, in a lot of the contemporary international styles, there wasn't garages that we had to deal with and stuff. With this, we have all the architecture pulled forward, which is a really good statement to kind of bring that forward, set the garage back. So we're developing plans and architectural vocabulary with product types of different sizes and scales. So the second floor, we purposely set that back. One, it helps us with shading for adjacent homes. It also helps us with privacy. It also helps us with the massing. So what we're doing is we're kind of interpreting these three styles. These three styles work really well together. Neither one of them kind of tries to outbeat the other ones. They work really well in harmony together, and so that's why these different styles work together, so we can complement each other. But we do take a lot of time in trying to interpret those things.
A question for you. Where are you putting the 2 stories? And maybe you could show the map and show us where the 2 stories are going.
Okay, well, if you look at the floor plans, if we pull up a floor plan, you'll see the lower level. Well, or you could go back to the street scene if you wanted to also.
It's not the street scene, it's
Yeah,
the
the street scene.
location. I mean, I see the street scene. The question is where they're placed within
Well, the second floor is usually in the center of the house. So we're pulling them in from the sides, we're pulling them in from the front.
That isn't my question. My question is where are the second stories on the map?
On the site plan?
Yeah.
Okay, I think they're shown there.
So on our plotting plans, it might be difficult to see, but there's a color system, and our 2 stories are orange and purple, so you will be able to see them.
Do you know what page they're on?
Right, it's page 14 for planning area 7 in the booklet or online. I'm sorry, the way the PowerPoint, you can't really see the colors, but in the drawing, there's a green, blue,
Do you know what page? Because it's,
page 14.
okay.
So like lot 9 would be a plan 2, which is 1 story. Lot 10 would be a 2 story. And then the corner lot 7 is a 2 story.
And similarly, how do I know which architectural style goes on which lot?
That hasn't been predetermined. I don't believe that at this stage it has been a request to make that decision. We include as much variation as possible, so we try to provide us an even amount of percentages. And also, I would like to say, to provide more variation, some of those plans are mirrored as well. So between our different floor plans, elevation, mirroring them in our color scheme, it provides a lot of variation within the site.
Okay, so we're not trying to create an international village in a mid-century.
No, quite
but there'll
opposite,
be,
yes.
okay, great, that's what I wanted to hear.
So just some questions, just confirmation. You're going to put, on Grandview, you are going to put a wall in the southern portion. You'll put a wall that matches the other.
Correct,
And you're
yes.
stipulating that you will do that.
Yes, it will be a 6-foot tall wall, just like the rest of the walls along the community.
Okay. And you are going to follow your, the recommendations regarding soundproofing, and you'll do some additional soundproofing of the windows on the second story.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And maybe these are Mr. Dosey questions, but you are going to create a landscape plan for the 2 areas along Gene Autry, since one does not exist.
Yes, at that point, I think that we will see how we best want to address it, but clearly a plan needs to be made. And then that will give us the ability to move forward and see how the missing plants and new landscaping will want to be incorporated.
Living there for years, I can tell you that very little exists of the original, that things have moved and either died, been changed over time, so that there probably is a little resemblance. Some trees still survive.
Yeah.
You are going to deal with the blow sand on Gene Autry?
Could you expand on that a little bit, if you?
There was a letter saying that there has been blow sand building up. There
In the
areas,
landscaping.
yeah, and if there is blow sand in those areas, it's something you will remove.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely something that we can take on and look into the landscaping and how that may be able to help.
And you are going to revise your plans to show the changes in landscape, in the common area landscape that the HOA requested?
Yes, that is correct. What we provided was very preliminary, considering that we discussed those comments on Friday. We wanted to be able to put something together for you, but you will be seeing the same level of detail for the new design that was presented.
So with that, you will get irrigation plans and lighting plans for those areas?
Yes. And we have discussed incorporating some uplighting at the trees and seeing how we can mimic what has already been done in the existing community.
Just speaking of uplighting, one of your, I think it's sheet, page 52, shows uplights on the house. You can't do that.
Is it a rendering?
Yeah, it's on the drawings. We have a dark sky ordinance in the
Yes.
city. So just,
I think for the lighting, it will be on the front
On
yard
the-
typical landscaping, and that is what will
and you can
actually
do,
be
you
done.
can do, so you'll work within the city guidelines,
Yes, of
but you
course.
won't uplight the houses.
Yes.
Thank you. In terms of, let me see. The other is you probably work through some kind of solution for that section on the northern section that is the easement. Work something through as to how that's going to be treated, or maybe Mr. Dosey has a recommendation as to how to treat that now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Currently, what we are showing there, it's, if you see the plan, there's two walls. So the wall closest to the lot is just a low retaining wall. And then there's like a planter area and then the perimeter wall in the back of it. We were showing plant material in there. It was a Carissa green carpet.
Right.
And the plan was that would just fill in, not require a lot of maintenance, maybe drape over the wall. There was discussion at our meeting with the HOA that perhaps that area may just be rock and not require any maintenance or irrigation. And then if homeowners decide they would like to landscape that area, they could do that.
Does the homeowner wall go across? I mean, that's an interesting thing where you're going to have access to each of the homes because of that.
That, again, yes, was the concern. How, if the side yard wall continues to the back, how there would be access for that. So that's when the discussion came that it may be best just to have those areas as rock, and then the homeowners themselves could take advantage of that space back there.
Well, so there will be a solution at some point when you get to either a committee or the ARC, that there'll be a solution for that. The other is Gene Autry in this northern portion doesn't have any electricity. How are you going to solve that?
In our discussions, starting with the Gene Autry landscape, what basically we're going to have to do is walk the project and create an as-built drawing if there's anything left. We'll review the irrigation to make it sure that it's all functional. And then the possibility of getting some electric out there was discussed, that we could bring it from one of those adjacent common area lots if we wanted to get the electric over there.
And
we'll develop a full plan for that streetscape.
the young woman who just spoke said you would do a new landscape plan.
Yes.
Okay, for that area. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there were any other, I think probably we've covered most of the issues.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have questions? Commissioner Miller?
I've just got one quick one. Beyond the 1-story and 2 stories that have been laid out on the plans, is there anything built in that would prohibit, if a buyer wanted it, would prohibit the same floor plan and same architectural design from being placed side by side?
Yes, thank you for your question. Yes, so as it was presented today, the plotting is what we will want to get approved, and the buyer only has selections and option choices within the inside of the house. The selections as far as floor plan and elevation style is decided by us as the builder, and this is just not a possibility to be putting the same floor plan, same elevation style next to each other.
Is that just based on your policy, or is it, because there's nothing in the city's conditions or anything that would prohibit that, but
I think that's within our internal policies, but also the precise grading and the plans get approved by the city. So precise grading will show the plan and elevation type, so that has to be getting approved, and if we want to make any revisions, it has to be approved and resubmitted and reapproved as well.
Right, so Madam Chair, the Planning Commission could add some discussion and a condition of no two house types next to each other, or provide a matrix or something of that nature.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
How much variation is there in setbacks from the street? As I look at these, it looks like they're kind of lined up, but I don't know how much room you have to work with.
Yeah, so if you don't mind going back to the page that shows all 4 floor plans, yeah, so this shows you the setbacks. And right now we are mainly at 10 feet for the front of the house and giving a 20-foot setback for the garage, except our mayor, the 3rd floor plan, where the house is set back a little bit more. The lots are fairly tight. We're working with 45 width by 90 deep. So unfortunately, we don't have right now the freedom to really give a lot of relief. Based on the staff report, it does note that we can have the garage setback be at a minimum of 18. Right now, we're showing at 20. So I think that we can have conversations about bringing them up to 18 to provide a little bit more relief. But as you can see, our lots don't offer very large backyard. And because we want to provide the buyer with a spool, being able to give the backyard the space that it needs to provide that, it just doesn't allow us to push our houses back.
The 20 is required in the Asina.
Excuse me?
The 20 feet is required in the Asina design guidelines. It's, it is an 18, and it isn't discretionary as far as I understand.
I think it was my understanding that it might have been 18, but I apologize
There,
if I
if you-
misunderstood, and I will make sure
I
to
think,
review
I think
that.
staff can show you the section.
Right, yes. We'll confirm that. I think the point is that they're aware of providing some variation in setbacks and so forth. And the page 26 of the booklet shows the setbacks. 10, 10, 18, and 10, depending on what the house type is. With the 20-foot driveway.
Oh, with the 20-foot driveway.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry.
And yeah, it isn't it's the driveway that's required.
Right, there's a bump out in each of the 3 of the floor plans.
And we will get 2 trees in front of every house.
Right now, I think that our landscaper is able to revise the plans to show that as well.
Thank you. The matter is before the commission. I have some suggestions on a motion. I don't know. I think there are a number of things that need to be revised and come back. And so I'm going to list what I want to see. I think I would like to have a subcommittee with with ARC and our commission to go over this, but I'd like to see a streetscape just to show what the streets are going to look like. So a drawing and a rendering. The one thing that I didn't see in the design is four-sided design, and because you've got 0 lot lines, what the adjacent house looks like is really on the side yards is really going to matter to the people next door. So I would like four-sided design to be paid attention to. I didn't see that in the renderings. 2 trees per house, a complete landscape plan for Gene Autry, since one doesn't exist. You've indicated that you're going to change your landscape plans to meet the requests of the HOA, so seeing those modifications, seeing an irrigation and lighting plan come for the common areas. I think we just condition this with, is it in our purview to condition it for the soundproofing? Or show designs that show the soundproofing?
Right, that would be looked at when it goes through the plan check process, but you could add that as a,
Okay. That the wall be added on Grandview in the southern portion as shown, so that we would, that this committee would see that. To the extent there can be more shading on the windows, small projections, I would like to see shading, some focus on shading on the windows, more of the windows. The front window has a small projection shading it and an eyebrow, but I think more shading on the windows. And I think that covers most of the issues. I think I'd like the committee just to look at the architecture. I understand the constraints that you're working with and the history that the Asina design, this is me speaking, the Asina design guidelines were written probably 2001 or 2002, and people were copying styles. They were doing more absolute references than people are probably doing today to what the historical styles are. But I do think people should still look at that. Just in terms of the materials that are used and the overall attractiveness of the units and as they're placed together. But it would come to a committee that would be, I think, probably 3 representatives of us and 2 of architectural review. And this would just be to make sure that the changes you've said you're making today would be coming in terms of what goes into ARC. So that's my motion. Are there additions or changes or second?
Just some additional comments I didn't make earlier about the architecture, and I know the subcommittee is going to be a process, but I think in terms of letting the applicant know what I think the issues are more specifically, I think in many cases they've missed the spirit of the design guideline. I think putting a sloped roof on a building does not make it mid-century, and the essence of mid-century is indoor-outdoor. It's clear story windows. It's asymmetrical. It's stone walls or block walls that don't wrap around a volume to create something very heavy. So I think you've completely missed it. And again, I understand that there are ways to interpret it, but I think what we're seeing here does not even come close to what's possible. I think your proportions on the front bedrooms are way off, way too tall. I agree with the Chair Wermiak's comments about being more sensitive to solar control on all of the windows. The lack of 4-sided architecture is clearly missing. I'd just like to see, I think when you look at this in total, it's very homogenized. And I think it doesn't hurt to vary a little bit more than just changing a block texture or color from one house to another. I think there are opportunities to architecturally revise window locations, wrap the corners. There's so many opportunities that you can still use and maybe get closer to the spirit of the guidelines without being literal. So those are my comments.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner. We'll take those into consideration.
Those, and especially on the mid-century, I thought that the roof lines were just, it was too cliche, much too cliche.
The only other comment I would add would be regarding no two floor plan and styles the same next to each other.
Yes, sorry, meant to include that. So I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any comments? Can you call the question?
So if I could just to,
Yes.
sorry, just to clarify, this is a motion for approval with referral to a subcommittee,
Yes.
but it's not coming back to the full commission?
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you
No,
for that
it is
clarification.
approval. It's going to a subcommittee. I really want to thank you before we vote for all of the work that you have done and all the work you've done with the HOA on this. It's really important what you've done, but because there are going to be changes, we want to make sure that it comes through, it goes to ARC with the changes you've told us you would make.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, everyone, for your time tonight.
Can you call roll, please?
Chair Wormick.
Yes.
Commissioner Rotman.
Yes.
Vice Chair Alan.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy.
Yes.
Commissioner Morale.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you so much.
Can I have a subcommittee chair?
Oh, yes. Yes, I will give you a subcommittee in a moment. Commissioner Rotman, would you like to serve on this?
It really depends on when it happens.
We'll make it happen to your,
I won't be back until the next planning commission in October.
we have one next week. Are you gone?
I'm not able to attend that one.
Okay, but you'll be back. I
October.
think, you're here, it's basically 1 month. Does that give you the time you need to get things done?
I think it gives us a lot more time than needed. I think that we can definitely have those turned around to you within a week or two, and it would be our preference to be able to get feedback and moving forward as soon as we have our plans ready.
Are you going to be abroad?
No,
Can you do it by Zoom?
potentially.
Okay. Are there any other volunteers
I
for
think
this commission?
Commissioner Rotman's given you a lot of suggestions that work that could be going on before you meet with the subcommittee.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and even if your architect can do, as opposed to a finished presentation, just some sketches of potential alternate, changes, that would be very helpful for the subcommittee to see.
Yeah, of course, we'll take that into consideration, which makes us think that the month timeline is a lot more than what we need for those sketches.
We also have to work with people's schedules, so
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
do we have another volunteer from here? Yes. Great. And we would need a third person. Can she be a volunteer on this?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I think since the subcommittee is really tasked with ensuring that the will of the commission overall is kind of carried through into what goes to ARC, and rather than rendering a determination necessarily, I think it might be possible. Let me, I'm gonna text the attorney quick.
Quick. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Morrow, either of you want to do it?
I'm not available for the next couple weeks, so,
I'm available, but I would respectfully ask for a decline because I'm expecting to be a part of another subcommittee that
right.
I'm hoping will come forward at any week now.
Would you like to do this? I will do it. Commissioner Murphy, do you want to be on this?
I'm the last one, yes.
No, I don't, I'm just, I'm asking, we need, I mean, there are issues, I will be on it, but I would rather offer other people the chance to be on it. You're available. So we've got potentially 3 members, and if Megan can't do it, I will do it.
Right, and we have a ARC meeting on Monday. We can ask the ARC for.
Right. Hopefully the chair will do it. And
I'll relay that to him.
So the guidance has come back from our city land use attorney. It is acceptable for our alternate to serve on the.
wonderful. Thank you for volunteering. Okay, so we have a committee, and if Commissioner Rotman needs to be on Zoom, we'll do it that way.
Okay.
But I don't think we can do the architecture piece of it without you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and everyone else.
I need the restroom. I need a 5-minute break. I talked through the last one.
Recording in progress.
Yay. So I turned up the volume. Can you hear me better because I did? Okay, no, it's just, I'll lean in as much as I can. Okay, we are at 4B, a request by PSLUX LLC, property owner, for a major development permit application and a tentative track map for a one-lot condominium to construct a duplex on a .56 acre site located at 301 West Via Esquella. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The project before you is a request for a one-lot condo map to construct a duplex on a .56 acre site. The scope of work includes review of the application for conformance with the development standards of Palm Springs Zoning Code Section 920203, Section 940401, which is the findings for development permit, and Section 66474 of the Subdivision Map Act. Following an approval, the Architecture Review Committee will review the architecture, landscape, overall design, and color and material of the project. The project site is located at the corner of West Via Esquella and North Mira Vista Way and is surrounded by single-family and multi-family development on all sides, single-story and two-story. Currently, the site is developed with a single-family residential house. However, due to the zone RGA6 and the general plan designation, the lot permits up to 3 dwelling units. Lots in an RGA6 zone have a minimum lot area of 2 gross acres. This lot is an existing lot of record and, though substandard in size, considered a legal non-conforming lot. In addition to the duplex, the applicant is proposing a one-lot condo map for the purposes of creating airspace on the lot, which will allow them to be able to legally subdivide the property and sell them in the future. Again, as mentioned, the lot is zoned RGA6, which permits single-family and multi-family residential uses. The general plan designation is low-density residential, and 3 units are permitted on the property. The RGA6 development standards include height, lot coverage, and open space, which all comply within the Palm Springs zoning code. The maximum building height in this zone is 15 feet, and the project is proposing 13 feet 5 inches. Additionally, the buildings in the surrounding area are mostly single-story and around the same height, with the exception of the multifamily uses on the west. The east, which are 2-story. The setback on the north and west property lines require. Let me start again. Additionally, setbacks are required as part of your review for the development standards. The setbacks on the north and west property lines require an AMM application, which are processed. It's an application that is processed at staff level. Overall, the total amount of open space does exceed the 50% threshold, and though there are only 2 units that have access to the pool, the standard is still met. So above is the proposed site plan and floor plan. The proposed landscape plan, and the proposed elevations of
Can
the
you
project.
put the landscape plan back on for a moment? Thank you.
And the accompanying elevations. Overall, the project is considered categorical exempt pursuant to Section 15303, new construction, and it meets the findings of a development permit. Staff does recommend approval of development permit and the parcel map, subject to the attached conditions of approval. This concludes my presentation, and the applicant is available for any questions.
Questions of staff? Commissioner Morrow?
Yeah, on one of the last couple slides, it's the overview. Not that one. That one? The 2 units shown that are crosshatched in color, they left out the 10-foot easement. There's like a 10-foot courtyard between those 2 garages. but I think the garages are disproportionately large, so I just wanted to make sure it doesn't affect the overall area of the building.
The setbacks?
Yeah, the setbacks on the side.
Right, yeah, and so the setbacks on the
Those are
side,
consistent.
it's consistent and complies
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
development standards.
Questions of staff? Commissioner Murphy?
I'm having trouble reading the plan. Can you just give me an idea of the wall that goes along Mira Vista and Escuela? Is there a planned
So they-
6-foot wall that goes around the whole property?
Right, so there's currently an existing 6-foot wall along Mira Vista Way. I'm trying to,
That must be behind the ficus hedge.
yes, and it currently wraps around here. I believe, and maybe the applicant can confirm that there's a wall here as well. Yes, and I believe that's gonna be removed to make access for those.
Okay, so it's all existing walls?
Correct,
Basically.
and here as well,
Okay, thank you.
all sides.
I'm not sure there's a wall on the back because I drove into that parking lot and it was just a chain link fence, I believe.
Commissioner Miller? Yeah, you're at this point.
Yeah, I would just want to confirm with staff that this zoning and this product type with a total of 3 units, two being a duplex, does not permit a short-term rental of less than 30 days. Is that correct?
That is correct. You, in the city, aren't allowed to do short-term rental within a multifamily zone.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair Lane?
I'm looking at the site plan, which has the, that you have up there now. There's quite a bit of landscaping, existing landscaping, that looks as though it could remain. But when I look at the landscape plans, it looks as though pretty much we end up with just permeable pavers everywhere. Do you know what of the landscaping would remain, if any?
I'd like to actually direct that question to the applicant. From my last conversation with them, the hedging along North Mira Vista Way was to remain and in front of the main house on West Via Escuela. But we could clarify that with the applicant.
And then, do you know if there was any consideration given to other site configurations, excuse me, such as taking entrance rather than from Escuela, taking it from Mira, whatever it is, from the east?
Right. As far as I know, there is actually an existing carport at this location.
Okay.
That would prevent, or at least make it a little difficult to get access from Via Vista Way. As far as additional consideration, none that has been discussed with staff.
Okay, and it appeared from what I saw that most of the other homes along Via Escuela take entrance from side streets rather than Via Escuela. Is that what you saw?
No, I went through on just, the aerial, and I saw that there was quite a few that did take access from Via Escuela. It is considered a local collector street, and access from Via Escuela is a permitted access point. But there are a few.
Okay, thank you.
One question is, the house that's the westernmost, I think it's Unit A, that has no access to the swimming pool. Am I correct?
That is correct. Oh, when I spoke to the applicant, they had said that that was correct, but maybe some things have changed.
Okay. And when I drove and walked it today when I went along Via Escuela. There are no homes that are only garages facing Via Escuela. Is that correct?
I could say yes, that is correct.
So, there are a few homes that aren't, most of Via Escuela is trees or hedges, similar to what's at the property, where there are homes, the homes that open up onto it, you can see the home, it isn't just a double driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think given, the size of the lot, it's a little difficult to put the garages side by side and still maintain the development standards.
Yeah.
But one of the things we could add is, decorative gates or walls to kind of alleviate that view.
Other questions?
Yeah, do you know as they vacate a portion of the Via Escuela side of the property, are there plans by the city to widen that, or what's going to happen with that land? Because there's currently a hedge, I think, that's, now will be floating around, so is there anything from the city side about what's going to happen with that?
When I spoke with our engineering department, they are going to dedicate a portion of, there's a right-of-way dedication that needs to be taken, and a sidewalk that would need to be, I think, reconfigured. But I want to say that we've come to the agreement with planning and engineering that it won't affect that existing hedge on Escuela.
Oh.
Allowing for, instead of, I want to say an 8-foot sidewalk, they were okay with a 5-foot sidewalk.
So where will that sidewalk be located? Is it going to be at the new property line along Via Escuela, or is it out further in alignment with, your photo? Is it out further?
It should be in alignment with the remaining, or the existing sidewalks.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
If there are no more questions, is the applicant here?
Good evening, commissioners and staff. To go over the project description once again, the proposal is a single-story duplex on a 5.56 acre site at West Via Escuela and North Mira Vista Way. The existing conditions consist of one single-family residence that remains on the east portion of the property. As mentioned, the new development will contain 2 units on the west side, creating a 3 total dwelling on the parcel. Unit A, consisting of a total 2,285 combined square footage with garage and living space, 3 bed, 3 bath. Unit B, a total combined of 2,915 total square feet, 3 bed, and 3 bath. The outdoor amenities for the private yards, such as a pool, spa, and fire pit, will only be accessible from Unit A and the existing single-family residence, not the farthest units on the west side. And as far as the site and design, as mentioned, RGA 6, the general plan is low-density residential, supporting 2 or 3 units. Project provides 3 units total. Lot size is 24,829 square feet, consists of 0.56 acres. As mentioned, per staff, our total proposed height is 13 and 5 inches, which is below the 15-foot height limit. Our lot coverage is 31%, which is under the 50% allowed. The open space, such as landscape, is 51%. Such as setbacks, I believe we are compliant with the minor reductions via administrative minor modifications. Parking, we require 5 parking spaces. They provided 2 garages and 2 driveways per units. As far as that, any other questions?
Are there questions of the applicant? Yes, Commissioner Routman.
Yeah, so I asked staff about the dedication of a portion along Via Escuela and the existing hedge. So what's going to happen on the back side of the hedge and your new property line?
That hedge will be cut down below 4 feet, so it won't cover the entire view of the proposed unit. We're gonna have a low desert maintenance landscape that will provide a clearer view towards the proposed units.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
So if I understand this correctly, both the residents and any visitors would come up off of Via Escuela, and their entrance to either unit is walking up through an alley between the two.
Correct, between the existing single-family residence and the unit closest to the eastward. The unit on the westward will not have any access towards this. And then the purpose of this,
Wait, I'm sorry, it won't have any access?
so the unit that's located on the westward location of the site will not have direct access to the amenities such as a pool, fireplace.
But from the street, how do you get into the house? What's considered the front door for that?
In between the garage and the existing family dwelling, there is a proposed 5-foot tall block wall with a gate, a self-latching, self-closing gate that will have direct access towards a pool.
No, no.
So I'm coming to visit you.
Mm-hmm.
I park on the street.
Park on Escuela.
Mm-hmm. The front door for unit, the one that's more on the eastward.
For both. Well, the two new units, where's the front door?
I'll start off with the unit on the eastward.
Okay.
There, to the right of the garage, there's a proposed gate with a walking left entry towards a suite. To the unit. The unit on the eastward, to the right of the garage, passing the trash enclosure, the gas meter. There's another gate that will have direct access to enter the main unit.
So somebody in the unit, there's no eyes on the street. Essentially, you're not able to
See the main entry.
see out your front doors. Okay. And then on the west, for the west unit, where are you coming in? Is that the front door that is facing west?
Okay, so for the existing single-family dwelling, there's a existing door.
Excuse me, but maybe we can get a pointer and you can point on the plan. That might be easier.
HVAC equipment.
Yeah.
Just going back and forth. How do we get the pointer to be activated?
Nobody.
Why don't you come up to the screen?
Who's going to want to buy it?
No, the
No.
2 units.
Those 2 units, how do you get?
The unit that I'm pointing at is on the eastward. To the right of the garage, there's a main entry for the central, more or less, courtyard, which will directly enter the unit for the eastward unit. The westward unit, to the right of the garage, passing the trash enclosure, there's a gate that will directly to the central courtyard, side yard, and the main entry towards the main unit. You have 2 options. One behind the kitchen and one to the main of the living room.
So visitors come past the trash enclosure and either enter into the kitchen or keep going and enter into the next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. And I asked the same question of staff. Was any consideration given to taking entry from the east? having a common driveway from the east side rather than coming from the north off of Via Escuela.
Well, you could,
Well,
the
you could, a
carport's,
carport can be moved.
the
or taken out.
carport's fairly minimal. It's not a major structure.
Can I speak to that?
Yes.
Sorry. So the lot's kind of a strange, odd little lot. So it dates back to 1939. And the original entrance to the lot and the address to the lot is Via Escuela. So over the years, the front entrance to the lot has always been Via Escuela. The house, the original house is there now, was built in 1939, and it has the exact same original entry that it's had since then. When we looked at the overall development of the lot, we did look at doing the eastward entry off of Mira Vista, but there was kind of a chokehold that we weren't able to get in and then kind of expand. It made more sense to go around to Via Escuela because we had much more frontage to be able to get access for multiple driveways, garages, and that type of thing. So it made more sense because we had more frontage accessibility via Escuela than through Monte Vista.
And if I can also add on to that, considering the width of the units and also the setbacks, not just the setbacks to the property lines, but also the setbacks to the existing single-family dwelling, it'll limit us to a 13-foot wide approximate building width. Therefore, it makes more sense to locate both units and locate both uses of a duplex on this portion of the property, which is the mass piece of the puzzle that's empty.
Okay, because of the congestion on the site and the configuration, I agree that the site could take 2 more units, but was there consideration given to perhaps smaller units? 2,900 square feet is pretty large, as is 2,200. Was there consideration that might give you a little more breathing room so that you can have front doors and things like that?
So the biggest unit, which is 2,900, that's the total square footage. The livable space on that is around 2,200, a little bit shy of 2,300 square feet. The second one, a hair under 1,900 square feet. The purpose of this new duplex is not to provide rentals for anybody that's out there looking for rentals. This is mainly for the uses of the owners occupying the single family residence at the moment. There's 2 owners on the property. One of the owners will occupy the existing single family dwelling. The second owner will occupy either Unit A or Unit B. And then the remaining unit will be left for a family member of their choice. They're not looking for any financing. For this, they'll be paying directly out of pocket. It won't be looking for any marketing issues or anything like that to fill up or occupy the units. This is a project that's ready to go if allowed to do so. I've had engineering and MEP plans as well as grading plans completed since early in the year of March. So at this point, we're just asking for you guys' blessing to move on forward. We want to do the same thing as you guys. We have the same mission in mind. We want to avoid and use up empty lots and get them built and get them built fast. So we're on the same page as far as you guys go. We want this to be done as smooth as possible.
We're just saying, I'm not on the same page. But did you give any consideration? I mean, what you've created is very awkward from my point of view. So it's very awkward on Mira Lesta. Did you give any consideration to possibly putting one house in front, a walkway, the other house in back, so that you don't create the kind of block you're creating on the street? Or just doing one house? Because the hard part for me is what you've created doesn't work from my point of view. It doesn't work well as an entry, and it doesn't work well on Via Escuela. So did you look at, and I know I'm talking, but you'll hear my point of view, moving the houses back so that you don't have a block. Having 2 driveways only with no eyes on the street is a problem. And did you look at any other alternates to deal with this?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate your concerns. The other 2 alternates that we had were definitely reducing the size of the units but due to the amount of bedrooms and bathrooms as requested by the clients, not just that, but the main usage of Via Escuela, there are other dwellings that occupy and use the main entry on Via Escuela. Although Google Maps or Google Earth might not illustrate that properly, if you guys take a visit down there,
I did visit down there.
yeah,
Thank
there
you.
will be some vehicles parking on the side of the street and using that as a secondary option as a point of entry. At this point, we're making it better. Instead of having just random vehicles out in the street, we're making a uniform garage entry as a point of entry due to the size of the lot and the configurations that we piece around with.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Comments, I think I've made mine. I'm very uncomfortable with this. I don't feel comfortable putting two garages on the street. There is nothing like that on Via Escuela, which is a very residential street. If there are houses, they're open houses where they have eyes on the street and a single garage. I could have been comfortable with 3 if there was a second entrance on Mira Vista Way, but I think this is overstacking the site. So those are, I'll give comments. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me.
Well, I certainly agree that the two sort of garage-only frontage, elevations facing Via Escuela is very awkward. It's not really acceptable. This is like the worst version of snub houses I've ever seen, where the garage is the only thing that you see from the front. I don't have a problem with 3 units total on this site, and I think I've heard others say that. It just needs to be designed differently. There needs to be some sort of shared driveway situation where you don't need 2 more separate driveways. In this case, that happened to be on Via Escuela. Perhaps 1 where they pull in, and then maybe you only have 3 garages instead of 2, and they're side-loaded garages instead of front-facing. And that way you can dress up the side of that garage facing the street so that it doesn't look like a garage. Something has to change. I understand the need of the city to get more housing in, and I appreciate that you're, sort of approaching it from that standpoint. But just packing in the density and coming up with something that looks like this is not going to be acceptable, I think, to a lot of us. I would certainly, we can hear from others, but I would entertain a continuance if you want to entertain a redesign, but I feel that you're probably maybe not getting an approval tonight for this design. Here?
Yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner Murphy. Although the applicant can speak to whether they want a continuance or a denial.
One thing I would say is the lot being substandard in total lot size, as well as the additional now dedicated right-of-way, which is taking 25 feet off the front, leaves us with such a small kind of tight building space that every time we tried different configurations, we'd run into different, setback issues on this side, setback issues. So it got very hard for us to be able to try to get what we needed into that kind of quirky little lot. We tried all the different variations off of Mira Vista, and we thought that being able to provide 2-car garages for both units off of Escuela was something that made sense. And the idea that having the kind of setback entrances to the units was a way to kind of create privacy and with that type of unit. If you can help guide me in terms of the difference between a denial versus a continuance. This is the first time we've ever done this. We're not big developers. We're just 2 guys trying to build a retirement house for ourselves to be able to age in place and take care of each other. So.
Commissioner Rotman, do you want to speak to?
Well,
Continuance?
Well, the continuation is that basically you come back with a new design. And so it sounds like I don't know your name, I'm sorry, but you're pretty much committed already with HVAC and, all that stuff. So it's not an inexpensive endeavor, but the other opportunity, the other choice is that it's denied and it's done. So
You could appeal it.
you could appeal it, yes,
To
you
the
could appeal it to
council,
council.
but-
Yeah, I don't want to appeal it. I mean,
Well,
I trust your guys' judgment
So-
and input, and we want to do the right thing.
So, my comment is, I understand completely what you're trying to do here, and in perhaps a more urban area, something like this would be not an issue. But if you look around the neighborhood, there are large lots, they're single family. So it's unusual that there's 3 units on a property in this particular area. I know there's multifamily, but some of the other houses adjacent are not. But anyway, I understand the comments my fellow commissioners are making, and I just wonder, from a staff point of view, if there isn't some relief on some of the setbacks that they could apply for, which would make it easier for them to come back with a different approach.
Yes, so the AMM application would be an option, which I know you're familiar with because you've already applied for that for, I believe it was like the north and the west setback, or like a full-on variance would also be another avenue we could look at as well.
So, I think continuance sounds like the right road, but we can,
It's a better option if you want this project to go forward.
we
Yeah.
want the project to go forward.
And,
Just already, we spent close to $75,000 just on plans and we bought this to be able to build for our long-term retirement and to be able to live together and take care of each other, so we're committed to doing this.
the hard part is fitting 3 units on this site. It easily fits 2. And you could do something on Via Escuela with 2. If there's some relief on Mira Vista Way that would allow you not to build a 13-foot house, the better option on this site is to try and find something, an entry there and a single entrance. The other would be some kind of shared driveway and houses placed at different, a house in the back and a house, a house in the front. I mean, I think they're different configurations, but what you're doing here is just hard for us to approve. And I'm sympathetic, but it's a small lot with what the city's taking away from you too.
We're kind of stuck as we've got kind of 3 family members that we need to try to fit onto. So you're saying that if perhaps-
in this area, can they go to 2 stories?
No.
They can't go to 2
No, they're
stories.
limited by height, I think to 15
feet.
15 feet. Yeah, they're not going to be able to get 2 stories in 15 feet.
And you may not be able to get the same size houses.
So you're suggesting that maybe look at one of the units have an entrance from Mira Vista, or the potential of both having entrances on Escuela, but some kind of shared driveway and some kind of change where there's eyes on the street from at least one of the units?
Yeah.
I would suggest that there are condos that have a common carport or a common garage for all the vehicles, for the various different condo units, and especially because your family members, that might work out well. But the other thing I want you both to understand is we want you to have a great retirement, a wonderful place to live that works for you. But we need to look out for the long-term interests of the community, of the entire community. And sometimes the land use decisions that are made for a single family, what they can do on their lot, doesn't work for the rest of the community, and someday you may want to sell. And so we need to make sure that we're looking out for all of your neighbors, the community, and the future, because decisions that we make can leave an awkward, poorly functioning site for 100 years, not just for the length of time that you'll use it. But I'm optimistic that there is a large enough lot here that you're going to be able to come up with something that works. Again, it might not be quite as large as what you have now, by sharing, especially by trying to share one driveway with a parking for all three units. I think you can get there.
The duplex could also, in some configuration, could be, you could work a duplex into the existing house as a way of not having the side yard and being able to do your duplex on Mira Vista Way. That,
Is there a setback for the drive? What if you did a tandem garage instead of a
Oh, that was,
you'd do a tandem garage and then have,
Stand in the garage and then have,
then you'd have a front door for both units. Just narrow your garage,
okay, I see what you're saying.
do we allow tandem
park back to
parking?
back.
So tandem isn't really preferred. It's not outright prohibited. Usually the garages are 20 by 20.
Yeah.
Because we also did look at trying to kind of side stack the garage, so you could kind of drive in and go to the side so that we could open up the front. And they're just setback wise, and there wasn't enough room to be able to turn.
There's always a one-car garage.
We could, but I thought we were required to have a 20 by 20.
but again, trying to figure out some way of using Mira Vista, because that's the area where it would be easier.
Yeah, maybe a way that I can make that work is use the westward unit, keep the same layout, and then just flip it, having the garage face on the south side.
Yeah.
And utilize that Mira Vista entry, removing that carport, shrinking the pool, and using that as a shared entry. Removing the total appearance of the garage appeal from Escuela, and now kind of dump that
And now you
half.
have some house on Escuela with a
Yeah.
garage, which is
Yeah.
a normal house.
Correct. And now I can attach that garage on the westward unit to the side of the unit, to the point where you guys can actually see a part of the unit from the street and not just see a complete garage. So there's
Yeah, and it's the double garage that's really a headache.
Yeah.
Could I take the pool and maybe transition it over to a
Yeah.
trailer to kind of front load it, to open up that
Yeah,
space
the
over there?
pool's not a big issue.
Football, yeah.
No, thank you guys for your
Because I have less
viewpoints.
setbacks issues with the
Yeah, I
building.
mean, we want you to figure out how to do this. We just need it done in a
cleaned up
way that we
version,
can
yeah.
I
approve
appreciate
it.
the help. This
Yeah.
is
Oh,
great.
no, it's a great idea, and we're encouraging it.
So then, I guess, through the chair, if I could, the question to the applicant is, how much time do you think you need? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days to really flush out a new design and come back to us? Because we don't want to keep wasting your time and vice versa. How long do you think before you could get it right?
You're going to make this happen, so I think to be safe, if we could have 60 days.
Or we could have it, and I guess these aren't getting, this isn't a 500-foot notice anyway, right? So we could do an open-ended,
Date uncertain.
okay, date uncertain. That
So we
leaves
can
it up
just
to you.
work on it when we're ready
Yeah.
and come back.
Yep. Yeah.
Represent. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I would move for a continuance to
date
an
uncertain.
indefinite date.
The date
to
uncertain.
allow a redesign as per our comments.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Vice Chair Alain,
Yes.
Chair Wormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy,
Yes.
Commissioner Rotman,
Yes.
Commissioner Morale.
Yes.
And if there are possibilities of variances or leniences on some of the setbacks?
I would say that a different version of an AMM, which is already kind of on
Okay.
offer for the project as it is today, could be a possibility. I
Okay.
think that it would be difficult to sustain the findings necessary to
For
grant a variance, just because it was, I don't want to say a hard no, but you'd have to really kind of dig in, especially
Oh,
on
no, I
the-
know.
Yeah, yeah. Soft no.
A soft no, okay. So if this passes, thank you. Okay.
Good luck. We look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Okay, right before us is item 4C, which is the appointment of 2 alternate members to the Architectural Review Committee. The recommendation is to appoint Bob Dillon, who is a architect, and Charles Elliott, who is a landscape architect, for terms, they're alternate members, but terms beginning September 15th, 2025, and June 30th, ending June 30th, 2025. I would say that we interviewed them. They are excellent candidates, and they will be real additions to the committee.
Madam Chair, I just want to note that there is a typo in the agenda. Those dates should actually be ending 2026, not 2025.
Oh, phew, good, because otherwise they'd get a
We would be
negative
appointing them
term.
to terms that had already expired.
Expired, yes. Okay, so those of us who interviewed them should make the motion.
I move to appoint the 2 new members to ARC.
I second.
Call the roll.
Oh,
Commission-
yes, sorry.
Vice Chair Alayan?
Yes.
Chair Warmick?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Great, and I think we have informally heard that we may have a resignation.
Yeah, I'll touch on that on planning director reports.
Thank you. Planning directors, there's committee, planning commission reports, requests, and comments. Are there any?
Great. A couple items of note, as Chair Wormer referred, we did have a resignation from the ARC. So at an upcoming meeting, we'll be asking the commission to formally accept that resignation, and will be one of the shortest tenures of an alternate member in my experience. We'll be asking you all to elevate the landscape architect alternate to a full.
Can you find out, we had a third excellent candidate. Can you find out if they're interested in being an alternate?
Yeah, I would be happy to. I know that they also expressed an interest in a different board and commission with the city, and I don't know if they've moved into a role with that commission, but I can certainly find out.
I think it would, for those of us who interviewed him, he was also excellent. And it was a hard decision, except that he wanted to work, he was interested in two commissions. So if he is available, we can take a look at that.
Sounds good. The only other report I have is that as a preview of upcoming attractions, it is, although it's not published yet, your meeting in a week will be largely centered on a relatively large mixed-use hotel, condominium, and retail development in the Section 14 area. So look forward to getting that rather meaty packet in the coming days. Yes?
When is the Bel Air Greens study going to happen? Is that scheduled?
It is not yet scheduled, but I can check with Ken, who's project managing that, the Bel Air Greens project.
Any questions? With that, we are adjourning until 5:30, Tuesday, September 16th, which is next week.
All right. Thank you all.
Recording stopped.